Hello guys, to anybody freaking watching this, because I barely get any views, but who cares? Disclaimer, if anybody's even watching, I don't know why, I listen to myself on audio recordings all the time when I make these videos, and I sound like a baby on these. I don't understand. I sound like a baby on these videos, so I'll try and make my voice deeper so I sound better, so that's how it's going to be for the rest of the video. So now to the real video is going to be a review of the 2002 video game movie based on Resident Evil, as the name suggests. Now, I see a lot of harsh ratings on this movie. Rotten Tomatoes rates it really low. I also see that some people do enjoy this movie, like Cody Leach. I watch him all the time. He really enjoys it, and Sean Chandler puts it at his first place, which I definitely do not agree with. But this movie, just as a spoiler warning, I really enjoyed this movie. Sorry, there's people laughing. I really enjoyed this movie when I first watched it only a couple of days ago on Netflix. And yeah, so here's an actual review. So this movie has really not a lot to do with the story of the video games. There's no Leon, no Jill, or at least in this movie, no Jill, no Claire, nothing like that. It's just she's kind of like our new Jill Valentine. She's this Umbrella agent that her memory got lost, and she joins these officers and goes into this place called the Hive, an underground experimental area for Umbrella, and she finally gets back her memories. She's I have to say, throughout all these movies, especially the first three, she's far surpassed Jill Valentine on the fighting level. She is superhuman. She's almost Superman level, to be honest. This is crazy. In this movie, we don't really see that much of that until the third act, which is a really fun act. Now, if I get into the negatives and positives, starting off with the positives, I think that the story, unlike most of these movies, actually comes to a final conclusion, a good conclusion, I should say, and that it does not end on a cliffhanger like most of them, without any context. Another pro that I have, or good job I have with this movie, is that the main character, Alice, this could be for the whole franchise until Retribution, but I love Alice from this movie up to Afterlife. She is so cool. She's flipping around doing all these karate kicks and stuff. It's just really cool, and I think that this is one of the best Resident Evil movies, mainly for that. Another pro of this movie I have is that, as you can see, it's an hour 45 minutes, around hour 30, 30, something like that. And if you pause during the movie at multiple times to check the time passes by so fast. It could be a bad thing or a good thing, because the movie feels short, but it actually is almost around 2 hours, and that really helps it, because I do not want to watch a Resident Evil movie with nothing to do with the actual games that is more than 2 hours. That's especially if you're gonna have a franchise with 7 movies currently. Yeah, so I have a lot of little tiny pros with this movie. Just tiny stuff, some side characters are good. The zombie effects are really good, even though the zombies don't really look that realistic. The effects are good when it actually shows them, which will be a negative. So yeah, let's go on to the negatives. My first negative, I'm sick, by the way, I forgot to tell you that, because I kind of have strep throat. My first negative is that I feel that just a few. Maybe the boyfriend, I forgot his name. The boyfriend of Alice is really not interesting at all. They try and make him funny, and a few scenes it just really does not work. It is not funny at all, and he is not likable, especially in the third act when he's trying to use the antivirus. Like, no, no, he's not that good. But another negative I have is the gore and the zombies effects. The way the zombies look, they look more like Dawn of the Dead mixed with a comedy movie. Like, they look like a Deadite from Ash vs. Evil Dead mixed with a zombie from Dawn of the Dead. Like, they have that blue kind of skin tint to them, but they have the blue tint from Dawn of the Dead. It looks really weird. Doesn't look realistic. And the gore is toned down so far. I think there's only like one scene with gore in this movie. If I remember, I don't really fully remember, but I really do not remember that much gore in this movie. Yeah, those are most of the negatives. I have a few little nitpicks, just like with the positives, like some little issues with the story, like the part where like they join all these cops just for like almost all of them to die at the start of the movie. It really makes no sense, even though their deaths are like the deaths in this movie. That hallway scene, oh my god, I should have put that on positives. Like, it goes in negatives and positives, and I don't want to have a mixed category because that would be really like weird. So I guess it'll fit in here, and that's about most of the negatives. Now, my final thoughts. I will give this rating on the meter. The LC meter shown on the screen, I give this a 67%. Really high for this movie compared to Rotten Tomatoes. So, yeah, that's the end of the review. To any few people watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Probably not.